Welcome back, my friends. So today, Analog has dropped their bomb of an announcement. Meet the Analog Pocket. Can't say I'm exactly surprised, because way back when we first saw those trademarks for the Pocket and the Analog 8, we kind of talked about these things. It only seemed like it was going to be an FPGA Game Boy. But the cool thing is it goes beyond that. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. But with that other trademark, the Analog 8, we still don't have news on that. I'm still speculating on that, thinking that it's going to be their budget version of their NT Mini. We'll have to just wait and see on that. But this is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and take a look. Looking like a Game Boy Pocket, right? But does quite a bit more than just Game Boy. So here we go. Multi-video game system, portable handheld. This thing, they talk about all this digital audio synthesizer, sequencer, music stuff. I never realized how big that was with, the Game Boy, that there's a lot of people who make music with original Game Boys and all that stuff. And this is designed to accommodate that. That's a cool feature, not for me necessarily, but it's nice that it's integrated. So that's one thing that this does that I didn't realize it was going to do. But out of the box, the Pocket is compatible with 2,780 Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. I was not sure about Game Boy Advance. That is nuts. Game Boy Advance, we don't have any FPGA course for the Game Boy Advance right now. This thing's still in development, so I'm not quite sure what's going down with all this stuff, but that's what it's supposed to ship with out of the box. Compatibility, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. I think that is huge. There's another product they announced too with this, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So they're going to also have cartridge adapters for other systems, which is just amazeballs. Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Atari Lynx, and more. But then the thing with that is I'm curious, because wasn't the Mega SG supposed to have cartridge adapters sold separately? And I haven't seen anything on that in a while. That shipped with the Master System cartridge adapter, but I haven't seen any of the other adapters they talked about for sale. So with this, it's kind of like, all right, are they going to release it? And then you can get these other adapters, like maybe never, maybe a year after. Who knows for sure? Like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen that Mega SG adapter sold yet. But here we go. Completely engineered in 2 FPGAs. No emulation. No emulation. So it's more of, people do look at it as emulation, that it's emulating the hardware or simulating the hardware. Not here to argue all that today, but it's not traditional emulation in the sense, not software emulation. So it's mimicking the original hardware, and I think that's really cool. But take a look. Looks like they're going to launch with a whitish version and a black version. Really cool. They have this little FPGA logo on the bottom there, on the bottom left of the console. We're going to check that out in a second, because that has to do with something they got going on. So the Pocket is designed around a first-in-class 3.5-inch 615 ppi LCD with a 1600 by 1440 resolution. The Pocket has 10 times the resolution of an original Game Boy. That's crazy. Pro level color accuracy, dynamic range, and brightness. There has never been a display this advanced in a video game system. They're using an interesting display. We're going to look at that in a second. All these games that I can play. Cartridge adapters required for Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Atari Lynx sold separately. Like I said, man, hopefully they get those out there quick, right? Don't want it to be an afterthought and people forget about it. Analog isn't just for games, so this really talk about their little Nano Loop software, or the workstation that's built in. Like I said, not something that necessarily interests me, but it's there for people who are into that stuff. And I think that is cool that they've included that. Right? Now you can help preserve video game history too. This is where that FPGA logo comes in. It's designed for FPGA development. We added a second dedicated FPGA just for developers to develop and port their own cores. What the heck are we going to get with this thing? 6 buttons. We're going to have an LNR, 4 face buttons. Are we going to have Super Nintendo ported to this? Because it does have an SD card reader. That's the one thing that is pretty cool. I mean, all of their machines so far have had, at least maybe not the original NT, I'm not sure with that, but they've all had the NT Mini, the Super NT, the Mega SG all had SD card readers. where you could load up jailbroken firmware, load up ROMs, that kind of thing. So I'm sure it's going to be the same with this. We're going to have jailbroken firmware, but with it being open for development, you're going to have people who have done stuff for like Mister, as an example, port cores over to the Analog Pocket. Man, I mean, I don't know how powerful this thing is going to be, if it's going to be able to handle a lot of the stuff we have access to. Could you imagine having Neo Geo AES on this thing? Who knows? Maybe they could port it, but that's what's going on here. They're going to allow development of other, people to put their own cores, work on things. It's got that development stuff going on. That's pretty awesome. Access to Analog's proprietary hardware and scalers. I think developers are going to do some amazing things. I think that's going to be the biggest thing with this that people are not going to realize, and they're not going to be talking about as much with this. Having that second FPGA being open for development of your own cores, that is going to be huger than anything else that ships with this, in my opinion. I mean, it's awesome. Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, the possibility of playing those other consoles. I mean, I'm sure like some people aren't even going to care, because there'll be that firmware. You could load up your Neo Geo Pocket Color and Atari Lynx without the cartridges anyway. So, but it's still like I'm dwelling on those adapter things. Like, where's the adapters, yo? So there we go. There's no better way to explore all of handheld gaming history than with Pocket, the Analog Pocket. They got some little pictures here, little side. We got a volume buttons on the side there. All this stuff is renders, so still a product that's in development. I'm not sure which one I would get, the black or the white. Probably the black, just because I like to have that black bezel. Yeah, I'd probably go with the black, I think. Let me know what you guys think. What color? It's not for sale yet. They're not doing pre-orders yet. I'm gonna be honest, that is one thing that I was relieved. I thought today, like, I was gonna have to bust out my wallet and spend money that I can't afford to spend right now. But no, they're not taking pre-orders yet. You could put in your email address to be notified, but they're not doing pre-orders yet. Don't know when they're gonna start doing pre-orders. Here's the last thing that they announced today, which in all honesty, I don't care as much about. But this weird thing, it's just a dock. I mean, it doesn't look like there's much to it. Damn system just docks into it. And it's called the Analogue Dock for when you put the bish down. Play your Pocket on the big screen. And that is cool, but just not as interesting to me, because I already have options for Game Boy with, like Game Boy interface, Game Boy player, stuff like that. There's a lot of options out there to play Game Boy stuff through, HDMI. But this is going to make it look even better, so maybe. But there's no price for this. There's a price for the Pocket that they've announced, but there we go. Play your Pocket on the big screen, put your Pocket into dock, and it outputs direct to your HD TV. Sync up any wireless Bluetooth controller directly to the dock. So you're not going to need any retro receivers, not going to need anything, just boom, sync up your controller. That's cool. I like that. So you don't have to worry about buying anything specific, buying any kind of adapters, just any 8BitDo controller. I'm sure, because they partner with 8BitDo, I'm sure you'll be able to use other Bluetooth controllers besides 8BitDo, but it's one of their partners. They want to hype them up, and which is fine, because 8BitDo makes excellent controllers. Don't get me wrong here. I'll be using an 8BitDo controller. I'll get this dock as long as the price is right. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I'll get the dock. That's kind of cool. There you go. You can also connect controllers directly via wired USB. Okay, got options, man. That's nice. Some more pictures there. Here's one of the little menu screens: settings, video, audio, system, about, save, restore. Cool stuff. Looks like they got a little, was that like Advance Wars or something going on over there? Some Game Boy Color stuff. Okay, so here's the deal here. Pocket is shipping in 2020 for $199. This is more expensive than both the Mega SG and the Super NT by what, $10? Is that going to be a hard pill to swallow for some? It could have been $50 and people will complain. So I'm looking at this like, you got to really evaluate this stuff, because $200 for this system, that's a lot of money. But with what you're getting and what you're getting access to, you're having more access with the system than you did with the previous systems, with all the stuff that you can do with it. I think that's awesome. Game Boy Advance FPGA implementation, that's nuts. I think the price seems right. I don't necessarily want to say fair, but $200, it has a nice screen, which leads me to this. So they do list the specs here, which is some of the stuff we've already gone over. Rechargeable lithium-ion battery. All the buttons are mappable, so that's great. We have a headphone jack, original style link plug. I've seen some people like say like, "Oh, where's the link plug?" or like whatever. I don't know if that's what they mean, like to link systems together. Seems like that's what they're talking about. Rechargeable battery, and then they do talk about the dock, HDMI output, 2 USBs, Bluetooth, and DAC compatible. Which, man, if you want to buy one of those DACs, you're going to be spending out the ass for shipping. Which also, man, this thing's $199. They're like, the shipping's going to be outrageous. These guys overcharge on shipping. I don't know how they work with whoever they're working with on their shipping, but these guys do charge a premium for shipping, which is ridiculous. Keep that in mind, though. So this would probably be like $240 out the door, plus whatever the dock costs, because they don't say what the dock's going to cost. If it's more than $50, I'm going to be kind of skeptical. Like, come on, man. But then, like, they're going to sell it separately. You'll pay like $50, and it'll be like another $30 shipping. I hope not. These guys are nuts with the shipping. I hope they figure that stuff out. Man, I mean, are they profiting for shipping? I don't want this to be a big rant about shipping, but geez, man, they're shipping. I've always seen people complaining about this. But this is the one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. 3.5-inch LTPS LCD. I wasn't familiar with that. Like, I'm not familiar with all the technologies out there. So I had to look that up. An LTPS LCD is a low temperature polysilicon LCD. It's an active matrix LCD that is faster and more integrated than screens made with amorphous, geez, can't speak. It's early, guys. Silicon substrates. Rather than the single crystal silicon used in chips, amorphous silicon advanced the active matrix industry by allowing thin film transistors, TFTs, to be deposited on larger substrates. There's a huge investment in existing technology. However, polysilicon provides an alternate approach. It's faster, denser, more integrated. So the stuff that I'm hearing is like you get better resolution, better colors, just a clearer picture. I think that's cool, using a newer technology, a little bit more pricey of a technology. So that's where that like $200 kind of like, okay, they're putting in some premium stuff here. Like I said, with shipping, it'll probably be like $280. Who the frick knows? $240. I don't know. It's going to be expensive. I don't know about this dock. They should have just bundled it together. Man, if they sell this separately, I hope they do a bundle so you don't like have to pay two separate crazy shipping charges. But there we go, guys. Made in China, designed in the USA, UK, analog. Looking pretty sharp. I don't know about these LNRs on the side there. It's kind of similar to other handhelds that have been out there from China and whatnot. Should be fine. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Get one in my hands. Don't know when it's going to launch, but it will be launching sometime next year. Don't know when pre-orders go live, but we will find out. Analog Pocket does not play ROM files. It will. Watch. It plays legacy cartridges. It's not designed using software emulation. I have to make sure that's clear. It's designed using specialty hardware chip called FPGA. We know all about that. There we go. Coming 2020. If you want to know more information, stay in the loop for when these pre-orders go live. Go to this website, put your email address in, and there is that. Just wanted to quickly talk about this. A lot of people have been hitting me up about this morning. Interesting news. It's got me excited, but just not as excited as I was with their other consoles. I have so many options for Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, but having everything all in one is an interesting and awesome idea. Looks like it's going to be a quality product. I will be getting one regardless. I will buy it. I mean, seriously, I do love my Game Boy stuff. But yeah, I mean, my excitement level's up there, but just not as up there as I was when they announced the consoles, the Mega SG and the Super NT. Just have to be honest, still cool, awesome stuff. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee yet. My excitement's not that crazy. Maybe it'll get there the more I think about this. But I am excited, just not crazily so, I guess you would say. we'll just have to wait and see. Really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. With that said, I will catch you guys next time. Peace out, thumb, butt, and boom. Boy.